This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to episode 141 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda. In this episode, an update on my knitting escapades of the last 2 weeks, followed by an update on the French adventure, and very tied closely with that is an update on the future of the Slow Wardrobe, and then following that, a section showing the various Cocoon garments, vests, playsuits, love tops, anytime tops and baggies that are all on special offer until the end of Monday the 23rd of June. Not only do I show you different ones that are still in stock of different sizes, but I specifically style them with various linen and a couple of wool Layercake garments to show you how well they serve as underpinnings, as base layers for when it gets colder. But first off, an update on my knitting over the last 2 weeks. Well, I have 2 works in progress to show you. One is not progressing very fast because the other one's taken over the asylum, but I'll show you with the one where I only have a little bit because I do love the fabric that I'm creating here. This is a sock blank that I bought years ago. There we are, from Sharon, 5 Moons Yarns. Sharon, who I've completely lost contact with. She stopped responding to my messages nearly 2 years ago, I guess now. Such a shame. But I had this lovely sock blank of hers still, and I am now knitting that on 2¼ needles, 68 stitches. I've started without any cuff. I do like it sometimes with socks that they just roll up a little bit. 68 stitches, then I'll do a heel flap and turn, and then I'll proceed with either 60 or 64 stitches. Not quite sure yet because I haven't quite decided whether I will give these socks to my husband or whether I will make socks for myself. Not that I need any socks, I've got plenty of socks. But I rather like this. The thing is, though, I guess is that I make socks. If I make socks for him, they'll get worn a lot more. We'll see. The jury's out. I will suspend judgment until I'm actually turning the heel. But isn't it gorgeous? Very, very Vincent van Gogh somehow. When it's looking like this. Less so when it's like this, but when it's looking like this, I love it. Anyway, so that is work in progress number 1, but progressing very slowly on that because I am putting a lot of time and really enjoying the knitting of another copycat garment. This is a very loose, as you can see, very oversized top that has a very interesting construction, and so much so that I also really like the shape. So much so that I have decided to do a similar act as what I did with that small linen cardigan that I then copied in cashmere. What I'm doing here is this is a cotton garment that has been machine knitted, and I am copying that, copying at least the shape, the general shape in my linen. And I think I already showed you last time, it is a fabric that I really like this. This is a 3mm needle, just a single thread of my own linen yarn. And what I'm doing is 1 row in one color and 1 in the other. I'm combining 2 colors. Let me see if I can show. Yes, I've got them here. I can show them to you without crashing or dropping the entire rack on my head, which I've done in the past as well. If I push this chair back too fast, then it'll tip the entire rack. Anyway, not so today. So I am combining these two colors, and I'm doing that because they match the fabric called the new linen cross weave called Sunflowers. As you can see, color is slightly distorted here because of the blue behind, but trust me, this knitted fabric is a match for the cross weave Sunflowers, and that's of course because that cross weave is made up out of these two colors. This is ochre and pomegranate. The linen 3-ply, knitted on 3mm needles. And what this top has that is quite interesting is it creates edges by going into reverse stockinette and just letting that roll. So I'm doing the same, but I'm doing them in a contrasting color. So my edging here is in the ochre, and along the sleeve opening is in the ochre as well. And let me turn this a little bit so you can see a bit more. I'm actually quite far on the back already, and I didn't bring any stitch holders, but if I spread this out, then hopefully you can see how much fabric I already have here, and that I'm almost at the point where the front and back armhole come together. The shoulder seam, which is sloped, so I'm going to start decreasing there and do a sloped shoulder line just like this top has. And I have in the same way copied the bottom of the edging, which is rounded, so there's a slope there as well, and I've achieved that by starting in the middle with short rows and then gradually going wider to create that rounded edge, and then knitting upwards. So there is a very, very small side seam. Side seam is only about 4 inches, and then huge armholes. The armholes in the back are longer than in the front. So the whole idea with this top is that it hangs back and that you have a lot of balloony extra shape in the back, and that it's a bit neater and shorter in the front. And as you know, I've said it so often, I love garments that have that effect of shorter in the front, longer in the back. And as you can see, there is a really big difference. There's at least a foot difference between front and back, but it's a very gradual drop rather than a step, like the step top that Layercake does. There's a big drop as well, but it's straight. And this is all flowy and rounded because it, of course, uses the shaping that the knitting takes, the draping that it does when you wear it. The other thing is that I really like in terms of the construction is that the shaping is very simple. It's very wide, very boxy, and it just has this sloped shoulder. But because it is so wide, it then falls over the edge, of course, of your shoulder. It covers the top of your arm, which I prefer, and I think it's going to look fabulous worn with either a pair of baggies or most probably, in my case, a play suit in Sunflowers. Hopefully in time for moving to France, because that is the next section that I will be talking about. And so far so good though on this. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks I will have at least finished the back panel and am onto the front. I've got my skates on with this because I would love to finish it while the weather is warm and before the end of summer, and then wear it with a play suit when the weather allows. I really look forward to that. So hence not much progress on the socks, and they may have to remain a little bit in the background for now, because I've discovered that this is also very easy knitting when I'm doing something else, like listening to an audiobook or watching TV, for example, chatting with my husband. Then the needles keep going. And because if I would have been knitting in the round, I would have done helical knitting, where you knit with 2 colors or 2 different balls. They can be the same color but different dye lots, or making sure that you don't have any changes in color as you knit up a panel. Then you can helical knit, which means that you do a round in one color and then around with one ball and then around with the second ball, and you follow each other around so you don't have any jogs. However, because I have such a short side seam and I had that big drop in the back, and at the end of the day I would only be able to knit in the round for about 4 inches and then have to break up again and start knitting start knitting back and forth because of my armholes. So I figured I might as well knit the whole thing in panels. It's just the 2 panels that I then seam together at the side edge, and that also allows me to do the tricks, for want of a better word, with the ochre edging, and at the bottom with the short rows. Of course, I had a trick with the ochre edging as well. I first knit the ochre edging full width and then did short rows to create that drop, and then knitting full width again. So cramming in lots of information about the construction right at the end, not very well planned. Anyway, that's all my knitting for now. More about that again next time. Let's move on and give you an update on our French adventure. Well, I alluded to it already last time. We have found a buyer for our house, and because of that, I have a much more clear timeline of when we moving to France, and that we in fact succeed in moving to France, because of course everything hinged on whether or not we would sell our house fast enough. So yes, we've got a buyer. It's a very serious buyer. There's not much of a chain involved, and in fact the buyer is going to come and see our house again tomorrow and take some measurements and look at some fencing, I think. So we're actually going to meet them, which I think is a lovely gesture, lovely idea. So that's all motoring ahead, and as a result our house purchase in France is set to succeed as well. And that also means that we have starting to have a clearer timeline of when we will be moving, and that may be sooner rather than later. We're of course completely dependent on the speed with which the house sale progresses here in the UK. And the reason I have to keep talking about it in such provisional terms is because the UK housing sales system works that way. Once you've agreed a price with a buyer, you still don't have a contract, and in fact you very often don't have a contract until days before you complete on that contract and hand over the keys to your house. So from the moment you have found a buyer and you've accepted an offer, your house disappears off the market. You can't sell it anymore to somebody else unless you're willing to gazump the bidder for a higher bid, which we wouldn't even consider. I think that's very unethical, but it happens in the UK. And then you go into land searches and all the, the buyer's building survey and all that kind of stuff. That all then happens. That takes between 2 and 3 months. And then at the end of that, you've got a contract. And only when that contract is signed have you got a legal agreement. And very often the completion of that contract, as in the handing over the keys to your house, happens very shortly after that. So it's a very stressful process, because you keep having this sense that anything could go wrong. Anyway, at the moment it's all looking very promising, and I have to start making moves in order to organize my business. So what I have decided to do is, unless I find a buyer for the business, if you or anybody you know may be interested, please get in touch. I have employed an official company that specializes in business buying and selling to organize things on my behalf. So if you're interested, then I can put you in touch with them, and then we'll go through the official motions of finding out whether I'm an interesting proposition for you and whether you're an interesting buyer for me. We'll all do that all via that company. But if you're interested, please give me a shout. If not, then my next, and if nobody else is either, then my next best solution is going to have to be that I end up closing the slow wardrobe. And what I am working towards now is to keep the website open for orders and keep taking orders all the way until the end of August. Those orders will then be produced in the first weeks of September, depending on how much production there is left. And by the middle of September, the last orders should then have been sent out. So at the moment, what it looks like is the order book will stay open until the end of August. You can buy both ready-made as well as made-to-order layer cakes until the end of August, and that's when the buying part of the website will close. We will finish producing orders that are left, and that will be it. And that may be it forever. If anything different comes to light, again, I will let you know, but right now, that's what it's going to look like. Producing layer cakes until the end of August and selling layer cakes and selling fabrics, of course, as well, and yarns, etc. And after that, we draw the line. There is no easier option than that, because bringing the business over to France as it stands wouldn't be practical, because the producer of layer cake, the person who sews all the layer cakes, lives here in the UK and will remain in the UK. That means that if she is working and producing here in the UK, I would have to import those garments into France and sell them from there, which may make my UK market, which of course is the biggest part of my market, difficult to reach. Or I would have to leave the garments here and in effect try and run an English business from France, which is not a practical option either. On top of that, with the kind of house that we're moving into and the fact that my husband will no longer be employed in a full-time job either, I quite like the idea of having the freedom to fill my days as I see fit, which means that maybe I will keep having a presence on YouTube. I don't know yet, but I would like to keep that open for now. And the easiest way to achieve that is to properly draw a line under layer cake, either because I sell it or because I close it. So until I find a buyer, the most likely scenario is that the slow wardrobe will close its doors at the end of August for all orders. I will communicate this as well, of course, in the newsletters that go out. I will send out lots of special offers before then, as much as I can, in order to help sell through stock that exists. And I hope you'll be able to support me through that and buy whatever layer cakes you want moving forward to help complete your wardrobe for the foreseeable future. So that's all I have to say at this point. If you are a regular viewer of this podcast and you're not subscribed to the newsletter, please subscribe. I send out a newsletter every other week, in the weeks in between the podcast episodes, at the same time, Friday afternoon, 4:30 p.m. British summer time at the moment, or Greenwich Mean Time when we're in on the winter clock. I send out I publish either a podcast or I send out a new newsletter, and I alternate that in case you were not aware. So subscribe to the newsletter if you're interested in layer cakes or layer cake fabric, wool or linen. And or yarns, of course. There are the linen yarns and patterns still as well. But that's it for the update on the French adventure so far. And I hope it's not too miserable an announcement that the Slow Wardrobe may close at the end of August. At least I'm giving you a couple of months heads up before the doors close. Until then, there are going to be a bunch more newsletters and podcasts. But for today, first, let's have another look at the remaining cocoons and how to style them. Enjoy. Presenting the cocoons and the special offer on the cocoons with a bit of a twist today. It's unbelievably warm, especially in here. We can't really have windows and doors open because that brings people in, which is very confusing for everyone involved. So it is warm, warm, warm in the studio. So I'm not going to go for 20 different outfits. I'm trying to stay cool, calm and collected in my Layercake cocoon outfit of a pair of baggies and one of the vest tops. I have the feeling that I didn't name them very well because they are very tunicky, very elegant, beautiful A-line. They're so much more than a vest. But about those more in a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm using 4 mannequins, and all the mannequins are going to have 3 different outfits on. The first set of outfits are a combination of size 00 and 0. Then they're all going to have outfits on in size 1s, and then outfits in size 2s and 3s. So starting with 00s and 0s, everything that I'm showing you today are cocoons that are still in stock and still part of the special offer. As you can see at the moment, all 4 of the mannequins, except for me, because I belong in a different size category, not in the 0s and 1s, not in the 00s and 0s. All the mannequins have grey, slate grey baggies on in the size small regular. Small regular is typically the size that the smaller layer cakers go for, and the slate color is the only color that is left over in the baggies in size small regular. So slate baggies for all of them. Then I have here on your left an anytime top in the color grey, which is the same color that I'm wearing. Then on my other side is a love top in teal, and showing these next to each other immediately shows you the main difference between love tops and anytime tops. It's not just the length of the sleeve, it's also the length of the top itself. The love top has got a shorter front and a longer back. The anytime top does that as well, but it goes down to almost the bottom of your bum, whereas the love top goes kind of mid-hip, slightly lower hip on the back, and then high hip on the front. They both have the shaping along the bust lines to give them a nice elongating shape when you wear them, but slightly wider and grown on 3/4 length sleeves for the love top, and slightly narrower and grown on long sleeves for the anytime top. The advantage of the grown on sleeves is that you can size them up or down. If you size them up and wear them slightly loose and slightly wider, they'll still give you a nice shape. But if you size them down, they can be very elegant as a fitted shape, and they fit around this part of your shoulders and arms very nicely, even when sized down. So next to that is a vest top like I'm wearing, but that's a size 0 in the silver color. And then at the end there is one of the last love tops in a 00 in turmeric. So that's the first set of outfits, and now I'm going to throw a set of linen layer cakes, or even a couple of wools, I think, further along, over the top of the existing outfits as they stand here, to show you how you can combine your cocoons and use them as a backdrop, as a base layer for your other layer cakes. Here we go. Here they are. To your left, this is a tulip dress in a size 0 petite in magenta. Looks lovely against the neutral greys, the medium grey and the slate grey of the baggies. Then we have here a size 0 love tunic in royalty, and of course royalty is a cross weave of a red purple, the purple that is in blackcurrant, cross woven with teal. So the teal of course shimmers through, and I have dressed it so that you can just see the teal edging of the love top, the cotton love top underneath. And of course you could roll these sleeves up to the point that you can see the cotton love top peeping out underneath as well. So teal royalty, the teal purple cross weave love tunic in a size 1 over the top of the love top and cocoon baggies. Then next, a short duster in mercury, and mercury is one of our more festive fabrics, but of course it could be worn year round. It's just a satin weave, almost kind of double-faced cloth in linen, 100% linen, with the inside a silvery color, which of course matches beautifully with the silver of the vest top, and then the outside black with the silver dots. And of course our dusters being shorter in the front and longer in the back, they follow the line of the vest top beautifully, because the vest top has got a longer back and a shorter front. So you get that beautiful sweep from front to back in both garments. And then last but not least, over the top of the turmeric love top, and in combination with the slate baggies, I have thrown on a size 0 mini tabard in the linen charcoal cross weave. And as you can see, the charcoal cross weave and the slate of the baggies are almost identical in color, but of course they've got a different texture. Lovely to have two different fabrics in a very similar color right next to each other, and it really turns it into a full-length outfit rather than just a bottom and top. And all you've added is a little sleeveless top with an interesting shaping. With that interesting shaping and that V shape that the mini tabard has, you then get to see the bottom edges on the side of the love top that's worn underneath. So you get to see that turmeric coming back in two different places in the outfit. Makes for a really effective outfit and very, very simple. So one other thing to say before I move on with putting all the ladies in size 1s, size 1 cocoons to start off with, is that of course all the linen that I'm showing you is also available as ready to ship. Those are all ready to ship garments. That's what I always use for these episodes. So whatever you see in the episodes is always for sale for ready to ship garments. So over to size 1. For size 1 outfits, I've done monochrome where possible. So we have an outfit here in slate. These are the large regular length baggies in slate with a matching anytime top in a size 1. So the long sleeves, both in slate. Then we have teal baggies with a turmeric top, love top in size 1. These are all love tops, size 1s, turmeric. Then we have a whole outfit in sangria and a whole outfit in navy. The combination here is on purpose to show you that you don't have to shy away from combining bright colors, and then if you put a colorful layer cake over the top of that, of course it pulls the whole outfit together. But even if you just wear the top and trousers like this together, those two colors look lovely. Okay, we'll do the same thing again. I will click my finger and they'll have some linen layer cakes. And is there one wool one over the top? And here they are. From the left, the last ever dress in the ink chalk stripe wool fabric that is completely out of stock. This is the last dress ready to ship in a size 1 regular. Looks fantastic against the slate of the baggies that are still just visible there at the bottom, and the anytime top. Great outfit for autumn and into winter. Then, of course, I had to go for super color in combination with the turmeric and teal in the shape of a short duster in the the large bright check. Gorgeous combination. Then I've stayed in that monochrome palette with the sangria outfit of Cocoons and thrown over a size 1 smock in the red crossweave, which of course is red and black. That darkens that a crossweave of red and black that darkens the color a little bit and makes it almost be a perfect match against the sangria. And then at the end, I've used one of the vest tops that I'm wearing as a tunic over the top of that navy outfit. As you can see, again, really effective because of the length of the tops. They work really well as like a medium length tunic, and that A-line combined as well. You can still find your pockets very easily for the baggies underneath. And of course you can go with a different color combination. I've gone for high contrast on purpose because I wanted to show you how good that looks to have the contrast of the tunic, the vest worn as a tunic over the top of the rest of the Cocoon outfit. So that is all Cocoon there at the end. Right, last sets to go, and I'm part of those sets as well. Finally, I get my little turn. So here comes the sets in sizes 2 and 3 of the Cocoons first. Size 2s and 3s. On my left, a size long, large, still slate pair of baggies with a white love top in a size 3. Size 3, is that correct? Nope, a size 2. Sorry. Then I am wearing one of the last 2 pairs of baggies in the large long size in grey with a matching vest top in a size 2. So I could wear a size 1 and have it fitted around the bust, but I've gone, especially in this temperature, gone for a size 2, nice and loose and really comfortable. So that's just, again, matching outfit top and bottom. Then the teal baggie still in the size large regular with a size 2 anytime top in the same grey color that I'm wearing. Then in the all over outfit of the sangria trousers, the sangria baggies in the size large regular with a matching top in a size 2 as well. And then right at the end, the mannequin, I've changed the mannequins to make the play suit fit better. That's a size 3 regular play suit in the berry color. And of course, I had not shown any of the play suits yet. There are a number of different sizes left in the size 1, 2, and 3. I do think we're all out of size 0s in the play suits. But in the sizes 1, 2, and 3, there are a couple of different colors left. And I know that there are both in the size 2 and in the size 3 choices of like black and at least berry as well. So there are different color choices as well. I haven't shown you all the colors in all the garments, of course. Have a look online to check out if there's anything in your size and length that you like, any combination, because the offer is buy 2 pieces, get 20% off, buy 3 pieces, get 35% off, and buy 4 pieces of more and you get 50% off the lot. To help me shift the remaining stock of the cocoons. Now, to combine this with some linen layer cakes to finish the outfit. Here they come. 5 outfits to finish today's cocoon celebration combined with linen and some wool layer cakes. On my left, the last wool garment that I'm going to show you today. This is, of course, the shirt dress in a size 2 over the top of, in the grey grid fabric color. Very subtle and multicolored small check. Has got some beautiful color combinations in. It shows as grey from a distance, but when you come up close, there are other colors in there as well. And then because of that neutral grey, of course, the white makes a lovely color to pop out. I folded back the cuffs of the sleeves so that you can see the edges of the sleeves of the love top underneath. And you can, of course, see it here a little bit as well. Tied it loosely in the back, and then beautiful color match in the front with the baggies underneath. Of course, the side of the dress has got beautiful, nice walking splits, and the back of the dress is slightly longer than the front. So that's the first one, shirt dress. I am wearing a Synergy duster, the sleeveless duster that we do, the long length, and I'm wearing that in the large nude check, which of course is beautiful with the neutral colors of the rest of my outfit. Then the teal baggies, the teal cocoon baggies, combined with the grey anytime top, now in a beautiful autumnal outfit by throwing over a love dress. That's a size 2 regular in dark, no, not dark. I was going to say dark teal, but it's not. This is deep sea. Deep sea, beautiful combination, of course, a slightly darker teal than the teal of the baggies. Look really nicely together. And then I'm finishing super sunny. First of all, over the top of the sangria outfit, I've got a size 2 regular tulip dress in the brand new sunflowers color, and then right next to that a easy dress, which is in papaya, so you can see how sunflowers and papaya combine. And of course, an easy dress is a wonderful combination in the summer with that play suit underneath. So when the temperature goes up during the day, on holiday, for example, you can swan around in your play suit, unzip it at the bottom if it gets really warm, and then in the evening throw over an easy dress like that for a wonderful combination. And then of course that color, that papaya color, which has got magenta in it, which is pink, and then the berry color of the play suit are a really nice combination. The whole outfit again pulls together as one coordinated outfit. So that was it for the cocoon celebration today. I hope you find some cocoons that suit you and that you enjoy getting at a hopefully big enough for you discount. And I thank you very much for sitting through all of this. Even if you're not interested in buying any more cocoons, I hope I've inspired you with some of the combinations, and I'll see you again soon.